Hello coders, welcome back to tutor end. So guys, in this series of awesome React packages, we are back again with new package that is very awesome. And guys, this package is called react-tooltip. So guys, if you visit the documentation of this package, then you can see here these tooltips are very simple and it may seem very easy to implement with the pure CSS or HTML. But guys, trust me, if you know about this, it is going to help you a lot in a large scale development because it has a lot of features and short tricks to implement various kinds of tooltips. For example, if you want to see here, you can see a lot of examples. Like this is the basic example, and after that you can see here you can use HTML inside the tooltip, and you can see here there are multiple stylings and colors with this tooltip package, and you can also add your custom styling to these tooltips, and you can pass any HTML component as props, or you can create your own HTML divs and HTML components and pass it to those tooltips. For example, if you go to the Wikipedia and whenever you hover on any of these links, you can see here a tooltip showing with the image and some paragraph and heading or title of that person, and you can click on those. So guys, these are not just the string, these are the HTML tags and HTML elements, and that is also possible in this package. So guys, let me show you a quick demo of this package so that you know how you can use this in your projects very quickly and easily. So for this demo, I'm going to create a new React project inside the code sandbox. You can also create a React project or use this package in your existing React projects or any frameworks that supports the React packages. So guys, you can see here I have created a React project inside the code sandbox, and I'm going to rename it tooltip. And now I'm going to remove this default code from here. And now let's see how we can use this. So to install this, you have to run this command, that is npm i react tooltip, or if you are using yarn, then you can also use this command yarn add react tooltip. But for now, I'm going to just copy the name of this package and write in the dependency in the code sandbox, and it is going to install this inside my application. And now I am already set up with this package, but if you want to use the version 4 or below the version 5, then you have to also include this CSS file. But if you are using version 5 or greater than that, you can just leave it and import this component from the React tooltip. So paste it on the top, and you can see this component is now imported inside our application. Now we can use this. So for example, I'm going to create a new button here, and I want to show tooltip on this button whenever I hover on this button. So for that, you can see here in the documentation there are two methods of using the React tooltip, that is by using props inside the React tooltip element and by passing the data attributes. So let's first use this data attributes. So for example, I created that button and I want to show the tooltip on that. So to do that, we have to write these data attributes inside the component we just wrote inside our application. So first of all, this is the data tooltip ID, and this is the ID which is going to be used by the tooltip component to show or to trigger the tooltip whenever you hover on this. So for example, let's pass it like this and give it a ID my btn. And now you can see there is another attribute, that is data tooltip content, and this is going to be the string which is going to be shown whenever you hover on this tooltip button. So let's pass it, and I'm going to pass it like these users. And now we have to use this component inside our app so that it shows the tooltip. You can write this component anywhere inside your application, and for example let's write tooltip, and we have to pass a id here that we just wrote inside our component, and this id should be same in the tooltip also, so we have to pass it id, and now we're going to self close it. Now you can see here this is showing the tooltip. So as you can see there are more attributes like data tooltip place, and it is going to set the position or place where the tooltip is going to show. So guys, for some reason the styling of these tooltips is not working correctly. So if you also face this problem, then you can simply go to the documentation and you can just copy this line to import the default CSS for the React tooltip, and you can write it on the top, and now you can try again. Then you can see the tooltip is showing fine. Now you can also remove this attribute from here and it is going to work fine. So for now let's remove it because you don't need it now. And guys, there are many attributes like this. If you want to know more about this, you can just come to these options and you can see here these are the attributes available. So one of them I find helpful is this data tooltip HTML, which is basically to show the HTML components or HTML elements in the tooltip. Instead of showing this text or string, we can pass the HTML elements. For example, let's write data tooltip HTML, and now we can pass an HTML tag here or HTML components here. So for example, let's pass a h2 tag here, and now it is going to show the h2 tag instead of showing this string. So let's try it. Now you can see here the HTML h2 tag has been shown in the tooltip. This is very awesome guys. So now let's try to add some more tags here, and to add more tags we can use this template literal to write multi-line tags here. So for example, I'm going to write an image tag here, and I'm going to link the image from the loading Pixum or Pixum photos with the help of this code. And with that we can also pass the earlier h2 tag or any other tags. For example, let's pass p tag here, and now again if you hover on this button, you can see here the image has loaded and also the p tag is shown here. So that means you can also show the HTML inside this tooltip. And now guys, there is another method of using this tooltip, that is, I told you, by using the props inside the React tooltip itself instead of passing these attributes to the components. So let's see that example also. So I'm going to comment this code from here, and I'm going to use the props method. So in the props method, you can see here you can write any of the tags or element of the HTML and give it a class name or ID, and you can set an anchor select option here in the tooltip, and it is going to select those components or elements, and whenever you hover on these components, it is going to show the tooltip and whatever content we put inside this tooltip component. So let's see it. So let's create another element here, and this time I'm going to create a link here. So let's write an anchor tag here. I'm going to pass anchor tag to nothing and give it a class name of my link, and just close it. Text is also going to be my link. So it is showing some errors, so let's change the URL to tutorial. Now you can see here this link is shown inside our application, and now we're going to add the tooltip inside this app with the help of tooltip component. And now I'm going to pass that anchor select attribute here. So anchor select, and I'm going to pass the class name which we just wrote inside our link, that is my link. Remember to use the dot whenever you use the class, because dot is the selector of the class and hashtag is the selector of IDs. So let's close this tooltip, and now let's pass some HTML inside this tooltip component as the props or the children. So for example, we earlier wrote this image tag here, and I'm going to copy the same image tag from this with the p tag also, and it is showing us error because there is no closing here. So guys, now if you try to hover on this image is showing and anchor tag is perfectly working. So guys, this way you can use the HTML inside this tooltip component, and there are many methods and custom stylings you can try yourself. For example, you can pass this delay attribute which is going to slow down or increase the speed of hiding the tooltip, or you can also make it clickable. You can just pass the clickable attribute here, and after that you can also interact with these images. And if you remove this, then you can see here you cannot just interact with that HTML components. So let's pass it, and let's try to use a button here. And now you can see here there is button, and we can also click that. Similarly, there are many props and custom options you can use. For example, you can use this offset, which means you can set the position of this tooltip, how far or how close this appears, and you can also style your tooltip arrows and tooltip boxes. So guys, similarly there are many custom options and attributes you can use and style our component or tooltip as however we want by overriding these classes. And after that, you can see here there are variants of this tooltip, and these are the major variants which is by default implemented inside this tooltip package. For example, let's try to use this success inside our component here, and now you can see this is showing in the green background. Similarly, there are others like error, and you can see it is showing in the red background. That means there are endless possibility of however you want to show these tooltips. And guys, this package is very light. You can see here stats that it is only 14 kilobyte in the minified gzip and only 44 kilobyte in the full size. So that means you can use this component and it is not going to hamper your website speed or your application speed. So guys, that's it for this video. I hope you like this video. I'm going to leave this code inside the description below. You can check it from here. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe this channel. Stay healthy, keep coding, and keep watching Tutor End.